Welcome to Nugget 44 with Steve Groman. So Steve, what do you have up your sleeve today?
Nothing. What you got?
Oh, come on. You told me you wanted to talk about the study guide today.
Oh, we're going to do that one now. We could
Sure.
talk about the study guide.
Okay.
We have, with our Walk in Faith ministry, put together a booklet, call it a study guide, but it is just scripture for the 99% of it. Very little commentary by me, but just scripture. A lot of times something good will happen with somebody. God moves on somebody at a church service or a camp meeting, or everything's great, man. They're on cloud nine. And then tomorrow shows up. And boy, here we go again. People a lot of times live a roller coaster life, emotionally, spiritually. I put them in a way to help people to keep their mind on the right track so they don't have to have that roller coaster life. And we've had amazing testimonies with it. There was a lady last week at church. We met her in another state. She wanted to get a couple more of them. But let me tell you,
that happens all the time.
It happens all the time.
A lot of times people just buy dozens of them to hand out to friends.
Right. I mean, we have people sending videos of them eating pizza, sitting around a table, reading the study guide. People have a lot of fun with it also.
And many people tell me when we go back to see them years and years later that they have their study guide right beside their bed. Right beside they read it every day.
Yes, they do. I talked to a young man one time, came out to one of our meetings, and 30-plus-year-old guy that he had some serious issues, and he was very, very concerned about it, and all that was taken care of, and it was evident by the next few hours after that and for the rest of his life since. Anyway, I gave him one of the study guides. They're only $5. I said, I want you to make me a promise. He said, sure, what's up? I said, I'm going to give you this thing, and I want you to do something. I want you to read this every day, cover to cover. It's a very small booklet anyway. And I want you to call me in a week. Tell me how your life has changed. He said, all right, man, I'll do it. Day number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A month goes by. 2 months go by. Never hear from the guy. But yet I do know that he absolutely got a victory. And that was noted repeatedly by different people. But I never talked to him again. But about 4 months later, we're doing a meeting in his town. It's early Sunday morning before service starts. People are starting to come in. And he's sitting out there in the audience. I knew you were going to be here, so I wasn't about to miss it. I just looked at him. I said, man, you look good. He just did. He just looked good. Just looked at peace and looked happy and looked content, and merry heart maketh a cheerful countenance, and boy, does it. And he said, I am, man. I feel so good. He said, I'm doing great. So we just talked about life and how it's been for the last few months. But I do have one apology. I said, oh, yeah, what's that? He said, well, you remember when we talked and prayed and got to the root of everything? I said, yes, sir. And I got a victory, no question. I said, yes, sir, I do know that. And you gave me one of those study guides. I said, yes, sir. And you told me to read it every day. Yes, sir. And call you in a week and tell you how my life's changed. I said, yes, sir. He said, no, I never called you, did I? I said, no, sir. You sure didn't. He said, I got to tell you what happened. The first day, he said, I picked that thing up on my way out the door, man. I mean, I was fired up, charged up. I read that thing. It was great. Second day, same thing. Third day, I picked it up. Not quite as much enthusiasm, but I picked it up, read it every cover to cover before I left the house. Day number 4, he said, I picked it up and I looked at it and I said, nah, I've already read this 3 times. And I just tossed it over on the table. He said, I'm walking out the door and I just got convicted. No. I promised him I'd read it every day for a week. So he said, I went back in the house, I sat down, I forced myself to read it. It was terrible. He said, day number 5, I get up, I'm walking out the door, I look at that thing, and I pick it up, and I said, no. He said, the same thing happened. I hit the door, and all of a sudden, I just got convicted, man. I said, no, I promise him, it's almost over. I'm going to do this every day for a week. He said, I went back in, threw it on the table, and I sat there, and I read it, forced myself to read it. It was terrible. He said, day number 6.
What was terrible?
He's already read it. He just read it over and over and over. What's the point? I already read it. He said, I just had to force myself. It was a very just terrible feelings he had. Anyway, so day number 6, he gets up and go through the same routine. He picks the thing up and he said, I looked at it and the first gut instinct was, I've already read this so many times over. I don't need to do this. He said, all of a sudden, I just pulled myself in check. I said, no, I'm going to read it. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to read it. So he said, I sat down and I started reading that thing. And about halfway through, all of a sudden, it's like, boom, just revelation. He said, all of a sudden, it happened just like you said. These verses are mine. They're not just verses that are in the Bible. They're not just verses that sound good. They're not just verses that we hear about people claiming. He said, they're mine. They belong to me. He said, man, I couldn't wait. I read the rest of that thing. I was all fired up. He said, I walked out the door. I'm looking for people to pray for. My life totally changed. I find people to pray for them, and I see awesome things happen with them, and I want to read it more. So I go back in and read it, meet with people, and pray with people. And he said, do you know, now understand, folks, this is 4 months later. He said, I still every day read it before I go out the door, every single day first.
That's awesome.
It's an awesome testimony.
Yes, it is. Keep watching our nuggets. And while you're at it, tell 10,000 of your closest friends about our YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, hit that little bell, and tell others about our YouTube channel. Thank you.